So for this battle report, we have Dawn of War deployment with Purge the Alien. So on the Orc side, we have 3 battle wagons. One with the Council of Wog formation, Gazcol and his buddies. We have a weird boy in here with a 19-man squad of Slugga boys and a 20-man squad of Slugga boys. And then the Stompa. He is, the only upgrade he's got is Grot Riggers, which gives him It Will Not Die. Over on the Space Marine side, we have Dark Angels and Crimson Fists. We have 2 Dreadnoughts, both with plasma cannons, and then we have Devastator Squad, 4-man missiles, 2 Whirlwinds. We have a Razorback with 6 men, a Rhino with 10 men, and a Razorback with 6 men, and then the little assassin there. Evisor. Alright, so Orcs deployed first and will choose to go first, and on to Orcs turn 1. Alright, end of Orc turn 1. Stompa turned his attention to the Devastators. He killed 3 of them. He messed up his roll on his Supagatla, so he can no longer fire it. He glanced the Dreadnought over there. This battle wagon moved up. The weird boy Peril rolled a 1, but managed to pass his leadership, so he was not sucked into the warp. And he didn't do anything to this, manifesting his Primaris and a Crunch. Gazcol, who is Ballistic Skill 3, fired some pop shots into this Rhino and glanced in. So that was it for Orc turn 1. On to Marine turn 1. I forgot to do end of Marine turn 1. The only thing that actually happened was they put a glance on this. They shifted around up in the ruins up here. Whirlwinds turned their attention. This guy fired some shots in on side armor. He's already moved at the beginning of this turn. Pivoted. This guy pivoted, and the guys inside disembarked into the ruins. So on to Orc turn 2. Alright, so end of Orc turn 2. Council of Wog jumped out of the battle wagon and did a disorganized charge on the Razorback and the Visor. They didn't get enough for the Visor, but they got the Razorback. They blew it up, caused 2 wounds on the Marines, and the Marines ran off the board. So that's 2 kill points for Orcs, and First Blood as well. The Visor did not get charged, did not get hurt by the explosion. This guy rammed him, didn't do anything. He took a pot shot into these guys here and ended up doing 1 glancing hit. This guy fired his big shooter into the Devastators over here and did a wound. Didn't do the leadership check as of yet, but we'll get back to that. And that was it for Orcs turn 2. End of Space Marines turn 2. So you had the Deathwing Terminators hopping in there with Belial. They dealt some wounds, brought Gazcol down to 2 wounds. The Assassin charged in. He took a wound on Overwatch and failed to do any wounds to Gazcol, and Gazcol failed to do any wounds to him. They managed to put a glancing hit on the battle wagon with the Dreadnoughts in the building. The Flyer took a pot shot at the Stompa, failed to do anything, and the Stompa did recover his wound from his hull point loss from the previous round of fighting. These guys fired some shots into Gazcol as well and failed to do anything. Alright, so that's it for Space Marines. On to Orcs turn 3. End of Orc turn 3. This battle wagon dumped out his boys and they went up and assaulted the Deathwing. They dealt, with 40 attacks, they dealt 2 wounds total, and that includes the knob there. They lost 10 guys, and so they were running. Gazcol failed to do any wounds. The Assassin made his 4-up invuln on all 3 of them, and he ended up dealing a wound to Gascol. Over here, Stompa moved up, fired, got a glance on that thing with his big shootas, and failed his charge. This guy here, he just moved flat out from over in this corner. Weird Boy perils again and died. Alright, so that's it for Orcs turn 3. On to Space Marine turn 3. End of Space Marine turn 4. They mopped up Gascol in his formation here. Gascol did end up killing the assassin, and the assassin's explosion thing killed one of the Space Marines. Other than that, not much else happened. They fired a bunch of shots into this bad boy, didn't do anything, and the flyer mopped up the retreating group of boys there. Other than that, Flamer flamed into the open top vehicle, got 1 kill, and now moving on to Orcs turn 4. So on this turn, the Stompa moved up and fired a bunch of shots on these guys, but he targeted this one with his big shootas. He failed the charge. He did fire his rear shooter into this guy. He made his armor save. These boys hopped out of the vehicle and charged that bad boy and wrecked it. The main cannon did glance both of these guys, or he penned both of them, and they are now snap fired. Battle wagons move flat out away from the Terminators and are putting their front armor to the Dreadnoughts. And that's it for Orcs. On to Space Marine turn 4. End of Space Marines turn 4. The Space Marines took some pot shots at these guys, killing about 5 of them. Orcs passed their leadership. Other than that, you know, these guys flamed them. Their plasma blasts didn't do anything. Other than that, they just shielded everything up and charged and wrecked that battle wagon. Power Fist did not explode it. So, on to Orcs turn 5. Alright, end of Orcs turn 5. So they shifted battle wagons over here. The boys down here spread out. Stomp charged the Dreadnought down here, blew it up, and that was about it. So Orcs are now up by 1 kill point. On to Space Marines turn 5. End of Space Marine turn 5. We rolled a 2 to continue, so this is it. So during their shooting phase, they managed to strip 1 more hull point off of him, not quite getting it. The Dreadnought tried to get a penetrating hit. He only got a glancing hit. So, or no, he did get a penetrating hit. I can't remember what the result was though. Either way, he did not destroy it. All of these guys fired everything, the Whirlwind Barrage, and the lone knob survives, and he passed his leadership on a roll of a 6. Lone guy hanging out back here denying me a kill point. So all in all, that means it's an Orc victory point by 1. The Orcs scored 4 kill points, and then the Space Marines killed 3, but they got Slay the Warlord, as well as Linebreaker, and the Orcs got Linebreaker and First Blood. And so managed to pull off a clutch victory. Thankfully the game ended
6-5.
6-5!
Good stuff.
Remember, first rule about Dice Club is always talk about Dice Club.